Good morning, MHS. It's Friday, May 6th, and welcome to this week's edition of The Pulse. I'm Max Larmet.
And I'm Cameron Wozolowski. Thank you so much for joining us. This week on The Pulse, we will take a look at what it looks to be the beginning of the latest form of interactive communication invading the hallways of Manchester High.
Also, you'll have the opportunity to see how 70 MHS students gave up time of their Saturday to give back to the community.
And we'll give you a different vantage point from behind the scenes of the talent show, focusing on our MHS tech crew.
All this and much more coming up on
The Pulse.
The Manchester public school system has consistently strived to improve technology. In the fall of 2013, MHS became a one-to-one student-to-device school with the introduction of Chromebooks. MHS Redline has developed into a communication hub for everyone in the MHS community. And now, administration is taking another step to improve communication with School Live interactive monitors. Giant touchscreen boards are popping up all around the school and providing students with accessible information about school events. Bailey Naso took us to the halls to see what they're all about.
Now you get into the phone number.
Recently, some new technology has taken MHS by surprise, located here and here. These are the new School Live boards.
So it's a really easy and intuitive interface that they've given us to use, and we're really excited to see how this can help us connect our students. So we're really excited about the idea of a digital bulletin board because it allows us to put up different content cards and even in some cases video, like the current issue of The Pulse, so that students can access things more readily.
And yeah, I think I'd use it. I think it'd be very helpful for all the students in this school. I think it's just a cool idea.
These boards have the potential to become a very helpful asset to our school. So be sure to check them out and stay updated, MHS. From The Pulse, this has been Bailey Naso reporting.
Students should be aware that the School Live boards are there for access to information such as schedules, lunch menus, or announcements.
Yes, and while staff becomes acquainted with this new technology, they may be slow to update the content out the gate. This would mean students might not yet see information on sports or other events. But not to fear, The Pulse has been tracking a couple of teams.
Manchester's filled with many talented and skilled athletes on track and field, especially the high jumpers. They are back better than ever. The team's expectations are set high, hoping they'll make states this year.
Making states, it means I get to go. It's not everyone gets to go to states, so I mean it's a very selective thing. So I mean it makes me feel a little better that my hard work's paying off.
States is really not that big of a thing to me. I'm more focused on New England and stuff, so it wouldn't be that serious to me.
Coach Mazzata is making sure that the high jumpers are prepared and ready to make states.
Each year the coaches will go to coaching clinics and get new ideas, and Coach Revin and Coach Simpson are great with learning new information about track and field each year. And we push kids real hard, and hopefully they'll push themselves. Ultimately it's up to them how hard they work in order to improve.
We are looking forward to seeing high jumpers like these at states. From MHS Television, this has been Zach LaPlante reporting.
Last week's presidential primary was a close race for all the candidates involved, and with Connecticut in the national spotlight as being a key state in the decision this year, MHS seniors felt pressure as first-time voters. Underage Illing middle schoolers joined in for the political conversation as well. Tyler Madden has the story.
On Tuesday, April 26, Connecticut was among the 5 states that held primaries to help determine the presidential candidates for the general election in November. Like most of this election season, the outcome was very much a toss-up. On the Democratic side, would former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton continue on her path to the nomination?
Where we can all rise together. An America where we lift each other up instead of tearing each other down.
Or would Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders pull off a surprise win?
We have children who are getting totally inadequate education.
On the Republican side, would Donald Trump sweep all 5 states after a big win in his home state of New York?
We're going to bring back your economy. We're going to bring back jobs to Connecticut. We're going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back.
we asked an expert to tell us a little bit about how presidential preference primaries work. Mr. Pohl is a social studies teacher at Illing Middle School who focuses on the importance of the governmental voting processes in his curriculum.
Primary process in Connecticut, it's closed. It's where when you get to register to vote, you can register as a Democrat, a Republican, unaffiliated, or with some minor party. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party both have primaries in Connecticut that help to select the delegates, or the percentage of delegates that will go to the national conventions to vote for any number of candidates that participate.
Usually, the nominees are known by late April, but this year, Connecticut had a big role in deciding the fate of the country. As Connecticut's Secretary of State Denise Merrill said on April 20th, quote, "I think that people know that there is a contest and they want to be a part of it. Let's face it, for many years, Connecticut hasn't exactly been a battleground state, and suddenly, we're relevant." With this in mind, Manchester citizens headed to the polls. It was our MHS seniors' first opportunity to make their opinions count.
Like filling out the ballot was really exciting too, because like you get the feeling that you decide something that could like affect something bigger.
And believe it or not, some middle schoolers voted as well. This year, Illing Middle School students participated in their very own mock primary, and the results accurately reflected those from our entire state.
What we did was we had students, basically based upon the candidates in either party, register as Democrats, Republicans, or unaffiliated voters.
I voted for Hillary because my mom and dad were voting for Hillary, and I like how she's a woman, like the first woman president.
The Democrats, because I don't think that the Republicans are doing a very good job sending out candidates right now.
All in all, Connecticut really recognized how important this election is for the U.S.
I'm going to tell you right now that there's no more important election in United States history than this election right here. And the reason why is that the Supreme Court stands in the balance.
Make sure to vote in the general election on November 8th this year. And from the polls, this has been Tyler Madden reporting.
You know, speaking about voting, Max, are you going to be able to vote this fall?
Last time I checked, I think I'll be 18 in December, so unfortunately not.
So you missed the mark by a month. Ugh.
Well, last week on the 28th, the Multicultural Club hosted its annual talent show for which many students put in countless hours of hard work to entertain the audience all night with what ended up being some very impressive performances. However, the students on stage weren't the only ones creating a night to remember. Ryan Stewart went backstage to highlight our MHS tech crew.
Here at MHS, there's talent in each production, but not all the magic happens on stage. In the shadows and off stage, the tech crew works endlessly to make sure each production is seamless. Last Thursday, the MHS tech crew worked behind the scenes of the talent show, which was run by the Multicultural Club.
So the tech crew helped me personally because along with Ms. Sims, the tech crew kind of kept everything in line.
For some of the students in the crew, this is more than just a club for them to be a part of throughout their high school career. Kyle Maloney is a first-year tech crew member and is already enjoying the tech crew experience.
I love working on tech crew. It's great because, I don't know, I just really enjoy this type of work, like setting up the equipment for all the shows and all the different groups that come in here. It's a lot of fun.
MHS produces many great productions each year, but none are possible without our tech crew. From outside the auditorium and from the Pulse, this has been Kaylin Courtney reporting.
It is rare to find a group of students as committed and dedicated as MHS Tech Crew. We'd like to thank the students involved and their advisor, Mr. Fairbanks, for all of the hard work they've done this year. The Tech Crew helps with almost every production MHS, and its participants learn valuable skills for future technical careers.
Yes, and the Tech Crew is always looking for new members, and it's actually the only club that will pay members for certain production work. Contact Mr. Fairbanks for the specifics.
The Tech Crew isn't the only group at MHS that puts in countless hours of hard work. Many female athletes here at MHS work day in and day out to better themselves in their individual sports, and it shows. This next story celebrates girl power.
I wasn't really sure how I was going to play the part on the team as a freshman in a team of all juniors and seniors. I was definitely nervous because I was the only freshman trying out, so being surrounded by upperclassmen, it was nerve-wracking.
It was good, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really think much of it, just that I got to run.
Sports
It may be considered an activity, but for some people, it is a lifestyle. In professional and high school level sports, male athletes and teams tend to be highlighted. However, we are out to change that as our girl athletes have been breaking records and breaking boundaries on and off the field. 3 senior athletes, Melanie Amato, Rachel Suey, and Taylor Stafford, have been playing varsity all 4 years of high school in their respectable sport. Melanie has been on the tennis team for 4 years, but it has been part of her life for a lot longer than that.
Tennis is definitely more than a sport to me. I put in a lot of work preseason and postseason. I do during the winter. I go to Bloomfield Racket Club and I play USTA travel, so it's more than a sport. It's kind of like just a lifestyle.
To the average spectator, simply a bat and ball comes to mind when you think of softball. However, to veteran player Taylor Stafford, the game symbolizes something much greater.
I would say I'm more of a leader now than I was freshman year. I am the only captain this year, so I have to carry the team with me wherever I go.
The Iron Woman Award requires female athletes to compete in sports all 12 seasons of their high school career. Rachel Suey is the only recipient of the award for the 2015-2016 school year and has run cross country and track every single year.
I'm excited. I mean, I ran, 12 seasons, so it's nice to be awarded for that.
From the track to the softball field and all the way up to the tennis courts, these talented women represent our school in each of their own unique ways. From the Pulse, this has been Max Larmet reporting.
You go, girls. For the past 4 years, you've killed it out there. And a special congratulations to Rachel Suey for winning the Iron Woman Award. She was the only female athlete to participate in a sport in the fall, winter, and spring seasons, all 4 years of her high school experience.
Speaking of the high school experience, committee exists to enhance the MHS learning and social environment. The School Climate Committee was previously made up of Board of Teachers. Now the committee has called upon students to give input on the future of MHS. Reino Fuentes gave us the story.
School climate, though, what we look to do, what we're looking to do next year, going into next year, is we want to have more student involvement.
The School Climate Committee is constantly working together with staff and students to make MHS not feel like a gigantic high school of 1,700 students, but a place filled with positive opportunities to learn and build friendships.
The school is about the students. So everything that we do in a school and function as a school, we always think of doing what's best for students. And students, they should have a voice in that process in terms of working with staff and other community members on figuring out school climate. So it's really important to have that student's valued voice at the table when decisions are being made and ideas are being processed.
From creating the Imagine Grid to working with broadcast journalism to create the Together video, which has been viewed over 30,000 times, the School Climate Committee works to make MHS feel more welcoming. Ms. Acabellas talks about the School Climate Committee's goals in the future.
And so some of the work that I've been doing with staff and with students is on hearing from those groups how it is that we see ourselves right now as a Manchester High School community. And then moving into next year, would like to continue to focus the work in that direction in terms of getting everybody familiar with those values, and also working within several groups that'll focus on the certain aspects of working with students, working with staff, and working with parents and guardians and community members.
When the MHS students and staff collaborate, it's a wonderful thing. For more information on the Student Climate Committee, visit Ms. Acabellas in room 115. From the Pulse, this has been Reino Fuentes reporting.
Now as the school climate improves, the climate outside is warming up as well. One group in particular is quite excited at this change, the golf team. The boys faced Bloomfield last week and are excited to improve their season. Lucas Bolduck took to the green to check in with the boys team.
The MHS boys golf team faced Bloomfield in a match Wednesday, but it was really a match of Manchester versus themselves. With a chance to improve their skills, MHS worked together and picked up a dominant win. Although they won, the players and coach both think there's room for improvement.
I think we all need to be more consistent and just go out there and have fun.
Freshman AJ Alibrio shot his best score thus far this season, but he still thinks he needs work on his game.
I'm going to hit the range, get a better drive actually, because my drive was a little off.
But my short game was well, so that helped me a lot. Saved me, actually, a couple holes.
Coach Jim Kelly was thrilled with the play of his team, but says they still have a long season ahead of them.
The hardest part for the game at this stage, being in high school, is the short game, and that's where a lot of shots are lost. And then just course management, being smart in the golf course, taking less risks, and keeping your head in the game.
The team faces Avon on May 9th and are looking to once again win. From Manchester High School, this has been Lucas Bolduc reporting.
This past Saturday, the Interact Club, along with other MHS student volunteers, joined volunteers from all around Manchester to give back to the community. Rebuilding Together is a non-profit organization that has helped the Manchester community by doing yard work and simple construction projects for people that might not be able to do so on their own. Morgan Kite went on location to bring you the story and do her own share of the work.
Togetherness, a concept that Manchester High School consistently strives for, was undeniably present on Saturday, April 30th during the town's Rebuilding Together event. Rebuilding Together says that together we transform the lives of low-income homeowners by improving the safety and health of their homes and revitalizing their communities. So many MHS participants, faculty and students alike, were signed up this year that teams made up of Manchester High volunteers were enough to rebuild 9 locations around town. At these locations, work consisted of raking, gardening, mowing, and even minor construction projects. Jay Dalal, a senior at Manchester High School, has improved the community by working with Rebuilding Together for 3 consecutive years.
Well, yeah, she was really appreciative, and it just makes you feel like you want to do it again and again. It just makes you feel good.
The homeowners are often very grateful for the volunteers as they are no longer able to do these kinds of tasks on their own. Carol Krar lives with her daughter and was thankful to not only have her house worked on, but for the conversation and the general reminder that, in her words, people are inherently good.
It's the most wonderful feeling God ever gave me, to have young people here again in this threshold.
In 2014 alone, they served 619,979 people. Last year, their numbers got even bigger. This year, 75 of our MHS student volunteers and 8 teachers showed up to add to the numbers and rebuild together. Not only are we rebuilding landscapes, as you can see, we are rebuilding friendships, community, and hope in Manchester. From The Pulse, this has been Morgan Kite reporting.
Wow, I can't believe how many students really wanted to lend a hand to those who need it.
Yeah, that's impressive. The Interact Club is always looking for members and organizes ways for students to work with the town and become active participants in society. The club plans to participate in Rebuilding Together in April of 2017.
And as April has ended, so has Autism Awareness Month. However, autism remains prevalent in today's society. According to the Autism Society, 1% of the world population has autism spectrum disorder. Jenna Kelly takes us into the real facts of autism and how it affects a student's mindset.
It's easy to focus and hear my voice clearly right now. But to a person with autism, I may be speaking too loud or talking too fast. Autism is caused by the inheritance of too few or too many genes on chromosome 15. It is present within the first 3 years of life and continues to exist throughout the person's time.
Autism is a broad term for autism spectrum disorder. It's basically a series of disorders that can be sometimes associated with developmental delay, but mostly it does prohibit the communication and forming of relationships.
This past month was dedicated to autism awareness. It is beyond simply promoting an understanding of the disorder to encourage friends and colleagues to increase the acceptance and appreciation of people with autism. Children with autism aren't different from anyone else. They all want a hand to hold and a friend to care for them.
Students or people with autism are just looking for friends. They just want to have a good relationship. It's really difficult for them, but that is their #1 goal, and it makes them so happy when they're able to hang out with their friends.
Many opportunities to interact with students with autism, from the MHS Buds program to Unified Sports. Remember to always be a friend. A simple smile can go a long way. From The Pulse, this has been Jenna Kelly
and Shane Costa reporting.
For more information on autism, visit www.autismspeaks.org.
Well, that's all we have for you today, Manchester. Thank you so much for joining us.
If you have any suggestions for the Pulse or ideas on stories that we might have missed, email Mr. Larson at b11elars@mpspride.org or visit us in the Communications Suite,
which is also home to our sister program, The Harbinger. Check them out at www.mhsharbinger.org. They had a story on rebuilding together as well, so check out Julia Party's story to read her report on the event and her exclusive interview with Scott Garman.
If you are interested in learning more about the Pulse, checking out our crew, or viewing some of the other projects, visit www.mhstelevision.com.
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MHSRedProd. I'm Cameron Wasilowski.
And I'm Max Larmette. This has been
The Pulse.